guys out there after me. I got a gun in my desk drawer, and I want you to give him some clothes.
What's in it for me, man?
I got a TV set. I got a hi-fi. You can take it all. The catch is it's still.
The world knows Dustin Hoffman as an acting legend, a man whose chameleon-like performances redefined what it means to be a movie star. But beneath the surface lies a complex individual who has spent a lifetime wrestling with insecurities, fighting for his place in the industry, and refusing to settle into any mold. Despite his iconic status, Hoffman has never seen himself as a traditional star, and it's this very reluctance that has made him one of the most influential actors in modern cinema. Hoffman is not just an actor but a trailblazer who paved the way for a new kind of movie star, one who didn't have to look or act like the stereotypical Hollywood leading man. His breakthrough performance in The Graduate, 1967, shattered expectations, and from that moment on, he never looked back. But how did Hoffman rise to such heights, and what has driven him to continue pushing boundaries, even into his later years? To understand the essence of Dustin Hoffman, we must start from the beginning. Early life, a misfit in search of his place. Dustin Lee Hoffman was born on August 8, 1937 in Los Angeles, California, into a working-class Jewish family. His father, Harry Hoffman, had once worked as a prop supervisor for Columbia Pictures before leaving the industry to pursue a more stable career in furniture sales. His mother, Lillian, was a housewife who cared for Hoffman and his older brother, Ronnie. Despite being born in the heart of Hollywood, Hoffman's early life was far removed from the glamour and fame typically associated with the movie industry. His family was far from wealthy, and the pressures of living in a city where fame and success were so highly prized made Hoffman acutely aware of his own limitations and insecurities. Growing up, Hoffman struggled to find his place in the world. He was a shy, introverted child who often felt like an outsider. His insecurities about his appearance plagued him from a young age. He was small, often described as scrawny, and lacked the athletic prowess that would have made him more popular among his peers. In high school, he didn't fit in with the jocks or the popular crowd, which only heightened his sense of isolation. Instead, he found solace in the world of music and theater, where he could channel his emotions and creativity. He took piano lessons and briefly considered a career as a classical pianist, but his growing interest in acting soon took precedence. Hoffman's awkwardness and self-doubt would later become integral to the characters he portrayed on screen. But during his teenage years, they only fueled his feelings of inadequacy. He was deeply aware of his shortcomings and often felt that he didn't measure up to societal expectations, especially in a city like Los Angeles, where physical appearance and social status seemed to dictate one's worth. He was not conventionally handsome, not physically imposing, and not outgoing or confident, traits that were often seen as prerequisites for success, especially in the entertainment world. As a result, Hoffman often felt invisible, an outsider looking in on the world of fame and fortune. Despite his growing interest in the arts, Hoffman initially had no grand ambitions to become an actor. Acting was a distant thought, something that didn't seem practical or achievable for someone like him. In fact, after high school, he enrolled at Santa Monica College with the intention of studying medicine, hoping to secure a stable career. His parents, particularly his father, encouraged this more traditional path. Harry Hoffman had given up on his own dreams of working in the entertainment industry, and he didn't want his son chasing after something as uncertain and fleeting as an acting career. A profession like medicine seemed more reliable, more respectable, and, importantly, more financially secure. However, it wasn't long before Hoffman realized that his true passion lay elsewhere. Despite his best efforts to focus on his studies, he found himself increasingly drawn to the theater. The rigid structure of academia left him restless, and he quickly realized that he didn't have the same enthusiasm for medicine as he did for performing. Acting provided an outlet for his emotions, a way to express the feelings of alienation and insecurity that had always been a part of him. It allowed him to step outside of himself, to inhabit other characters, and, for a time, escape his own reality. After just 1 year at Santa Monica College, Hoffman made the bold decision to drop out and pursue acting full-time, a decision that would change the course of his life forever. It was a risky move, one that came with no guarantees of success, but Hoffman knew that he couldn't ignore his passion. For him, acting wasn't just a career choice, it was a lifeline, a way to give meaning to his life, and express the emotions he had long kept bottled up. Hoffman's decision to leave the safety of academia for the uncertainty of acting was not well received by his family. His father, in particular, was disappointed. Harry Hoffman had already experienced the instability of the entertainment industry during his years working at Columbia Pictures, and he knew how difficult it was to make a living as an actor. He feared that his son was throwing away a promising future for a pipe dream. In their household, practicality and stability were highly valued, and pursuing a career in acting seemed to fly in the face of that. But for Hoffman, the need to act outweighed the fear of failure. He saw acting as a way to escape the mundane, a way to express himself in a world that had always made him feel invisible. Determined to make a name for himself, Hoffman enrolled at the Pasadena Playhouse, a small acting school that had produced several notable talents. It was here that Hoffman began to take acting seriously, studying the craft in earnest and learning the techniques that would later define his career. However, his time at the Pasadena Playhouse was not without its challenges. Hoffman was not seen as a standout student, and many of his classmates and instructors doubted that he would ever make it in the business. His unconventional looks and quiet demeanor did not inspire confidence in those around him, and there were moments when even Hoffman himself questioned whether he had what it took to succeed as an actor. In fact, one of his teachers at the Pasadena Playhouse went so far as to tell him to give up acting and find a more practical career. These moments of rejection and doubt would become a recurring theme in Hoffman's early career, but rather than discourage him, they fueled his determination to succeed. He was no stranger to being underestimated, and he had spent his entire life overcoming feelings of inadequacy. If anything, the doubts of others only made him more determined to prove them wrong. Hoffman's time at the Pasadena Playhouse may not have been marked by instant success, but it laid the groundwork for the actor he would eventually become. He learned the value of persistence and hard work, and he began to develop his own unique approach to acting, one that was rooted in authenticity and emotional truth. Even in these early years, it was clear that Hoffman was not interested in playing traditional leading man roles. He was drawn to characters who were flawed, complex, and deeply human. Hoffman's next move was perhaps the most significant one in his early career. In the early 1960s, he packed up and moved to New York City, a decision that would eventually catapult him into stardom. New York was the center of the American theater world, and for an aspiring actor like Hoffman, it was the place to be. But before he could find success, he had to endure years of struggle and rejection. Life in New York was not easy for Hoffman. He lived in a series of cramped, run-down apartments, often sharing space with other struggling actors. At one point, he roomed with fellow actor Gene Hackman, and the two became close friends, supporting each other as they navigated the difficulties of trying to break into the industry. During this time, Hoffman took on a series of odd jobs to make ends meet. He worked as a typist, a coat checker, and even as a psychiatric ward aide. These jobs were far from glamorous, but they allowed him to survive while pursuing his passion. More importantly, they gave him a wealth of life experiences that would later inform many of his most iconic roles. Despite the struggles, Hoffman never lost sight of his goal. He continued to study acting, training under legendary acting coach Lee Strasberg at the Actors Studio, where he immersed himself in method acting. Hoffman's dedication to his craft was unwavering, and though he faced rejection after rejection, he refused to give up. His perseverance finally paid off in 1966 when he landed a role in an off-Broadway production of A, for which he won the prestigious Obie Award for Best Actor. This critical success helped put him on the radar of casting directors, and it wasn't long before Hollywood came calling. Struggling actor, the road to breakthrough. Like many aspiring actors who flocked to New York with dreams of making it on Broadway, Hoffman found himself struggling to make ends meet. He lived in a series of small, run-down apartments, often sharing space with other struggling artists. At one point, he shared an apartment with fellow actor Gene Hackman, and the two would remain lifelong friends. Hoffman took on a series of odd jobs to support himself during this time, working as a typist, coat checker, and even briefly as a psychiatric ward aide. These jobs were far from glamorous, but they allowed him to survive while pursuing his passion. More importantly, they gave him a wealth of life experiences that would later inform many of his most iconic roles. In the meantime, Hoffman continued his acting studies, training under legendary acting coach Lee Strasberg at the Actors Studio. The method acting techniques he learned under Strasberg had a profound impact on Hoffman's approach to acting. He became known for his intense preparation, his ability to fully inhabit his characters, and his willingness to push himself to the limits for the sake of a role. Despite his growing talent, Hoffman struggled to find steady work as an actor. His unconventional looks and short stature often worked against him in an industry that favored tall, handsome leading men. He was frequently rejected for roles because he didn't fit the Hollywood ideal. But rather than let these rejections deter him, Hoffman embraced his uniqueness and used it to his advantage. He was determined to prove that an actor didn't have to look like a movie star to deliver a compelling performance. Hoffman's perseverance paid off in 1966 when he landed a role in an off-Broadway production of A.E., for which he won the prestigious Obie Award for Best Actor. This critical success finally put him on the radar of casting directors, and it wasn't long before Hollywood came calling. The Graduate, A Star is Born. Hoffman's life changed forever when he was cast in the role of Benjamin Braddock in The Graduate, 1967. Directed by Mike Nichols, the film was a coming-of-age story about a recent college graduate who has an affair with an older woman, Mrs. Robinson, played by Anne Bancroft. At the time, Hoffman was an unknown actor with little to no experience in film, and many questioned whether he was the right choice for the role. Hoffman himself was filled with doubt, feeling that he didn't fit the mold of a Hollywood leading man. In fact, Robert Redford had initially been considered for the part, but Nichols ultimately chose Hoffman because of his everyman quality. This decision would prove to be a game-changer, not just for Hoffman, but for the entire film industry. The Graduate was an instant success, and Hoffman's performance became a cultural touchstone. His portrayal of Benjamin Braddock, the awkward, confused, and deeply insecure young man, resonated with audiences in a way that no one had anticipated. Hoffman's vulnerability and unconventional looks made him relatable, and he quickly became the face of a new generation of actors who didn't fit the traditional Hollywood mold. The film's success earned Hoffman his first Academy Award nomination for Best Actor and launched him into superstardom. But despite the sudden fame, Hoffman remained grounded. In interviews, he often downplayed his success, attributing much of it to luck and good timing. He was wary of the trappings of fame and never allowed himself to become complacent. For Hoffman, each role was a new challenge, and he was determined to prove that he was more than just a one-hit wonder. From Midnight Cowboy to Rain Man, a career of unparalleled range. In the years that followed, The Graduate, Dustin Hoffman continued to defy expectations, taking on roles that pushed the boundaries of his talent and range. In 1969, he starred alongside Jon Voight in Midnight Cowboy, playing Ratso Rizzo, a crippled con man living on the fringes of society. The role was a far cry from the clean-cut Benjamin Braddock, and it showcased Hoffman's ability to disappear into a character. His performance was raw, gritty, and heartbreaking, earning him another Academy Award nomination and solidifying his reputation as one of the most versatile actors of his generation. Hoffman's career throughout the 1970s and 1980s was marked by a series of bold choices and unforgettable performances. In 1974, he portrayed the controversial comedian Lenny Bruce, delivering a performance that was both electrifying and tragic. In All the President's Men, 1976, he played Carl Bernstein, one of the journalists who helped uncover the Watergate scandal. And in Kramer vs. Kramer, 1979, he took on the role of a father fighting for custody of his son in a bitter divorce. His performance in Kramer vs. Kramer earned him his first Academy Award for Best Actor, and the film became a cultural phenomenon. Hoffman's ability to seamlessly transition between dramatic and comedic roles was further exemplified in Tootsie, 1982, where he played an out-of-work actor who disguises himself as a woman to land a role on a soap opera. The film was a critical and commercial success, and Hoffman's performance was both hilarious and deeply poignant, earning him yet another Academy Award nomination. Perhaps one of Hoffman's most iconic roles came in 1988 with Rain Man, in which he played Raymond Babbitt, an autistic savant. The role required Hoffman to fully embody the character's unique behaviors and mannerisms, and his portrayal was hailed as one of the greatest performances in film history. Hoffman won his second Academy Award for Best Actor, and the film went on to become a massive success. A reluctant star, Hoffman's ongoing battle with insecurity. Despite his success, Dustin Hoffman has always been open about his insecurities and self-doubt. Throughout his career, he has often spoken about feeling like an outsider in Hollywood, and his reluctance to embrace the traditional trappings of fame has been a defining characteristic of his persona. In interviews, he has frequently described himself as lucky rather than talented, and he has admitted to feeling unworthy of the accolades he has received. Hoffman's humility and self-effacing nature have endeared him to fans and fellow actors alike, but they have also been a source of inner conflict. While he has achieved more than most actors could ever dream of, he has never allowed himself to rest on his laurels. Each new role is a challenge, and Hoffman approaches every project with the same level of intensity and dedication that defined his early career. Hoffman has also been candid about his struggles with mental health, admitting that he has battled bouts of depression throughout his life. His willingness to talk openly about these challenges has made him a relatable figure to many, and it has further cemented his reputation as one of the most introspective and thoughtful actors of his generation. Later years, reinventing himself. In recent years, Dustin Hoffman has continued to challenge himself as an actor and filmmaker. In 2012, he made his directorial debut with Quartet, a film about a group of retired musicians living in a home for aging artists. The film was well received and marked a new chapter in Hoffman's career as he explored life behind the camera. While Hoffman's on-screen appearances have become less frequent, his legacy as one of the greatest actors of all time is secure. His influence can be seen in the work of countless actors who have followed in his footsteps, and his willingness to take risks and defy expectations has left an indelible mark on the industry. Hoffman's later years have also been marked by a deepening of his commitment to activism and philanthropy. He has been a vocal advocate for a number of causes, including environmental conservation, human rights, and mental health awareness. His dedication to making the world a better place is a reflection of the empathy and compassion that have always been at the core of his work as an actor. Legacy: a Hollywood icon who changed the game. Dustin Hoffman's career is a testament to the power of perseverance, talent, and an unrelenting commitment to the craft of acting. He broke down barriers for actors who didn't fit the traditional mold, proving that talent and dedication were more important than physical appearance or charisma. His performances have become iconic, and his ability to inhabit characters with such depth and authenticity has made him one of the most respected actors of all time. Hoffman's journey from insecure misfit to Hollywood legend is a story of resilience, humility, and passion. He has spent a lifetime pushing the boundaries of what it means to be a star, and in doing so, he has changed the face of cinema forever. Dustin Hoffman may have never seen himself as a conventional star, but that is precisely what has made him so extraordinary. Influence on a new generation. Hoffman's influence on the acting world cannot be overstated. His groundbreaking performances in films like The Graduate, Midnight Cowboy, Kramer vs. Kramer, Tootsie, and Rain Man have inspired generations of actors to embrace vulnerability, emotional depth, and authenticity in their work. Hoffman's ability to portray flawed, human characters with such sensitivity and nuance has set a standard for what it means to be a truly great actor. Actors such as Daniel Day-Lewis, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Philip Seymour Hoffman have all cited Hoffman as an influence on their work. His commitment to method acting, his fearlessness in taking on challenging roles, and his refusal to be pigeonholed into any one type of character have inspired countless performers to strive for excellence in their craft. Hoffman's legacy also extends beyond his impact on individual actors. He helped to redefine what it meant to be a leading man in Hollywood. Before Hoffman, the leading roles in films were typically reserved for actors who fit a certain physical type: tall, handsome, and traditionally masculine. But Hoffman's success proved that audiences were hungry for something different. They wanted to see real people on screen, people who looked like them, with all their imperfections and complexities. This shift in the industry has opened doors for a wider range of actors, and it has helped to diversify the types of stories that are told in film. Hoffman's willingness to take on roles that explore difficult, often uncomfortable subjects has paved the way for more honest and authentic storytelling in Hollywood. The enduring appeal of Dustin Hoffman. Dustin Hoffman's career is a testament to the power of perseverance, talent, and an unrelenting commitment to the craft of acting. Throughout his decades-long journey in the entertainment industry, Hoffman has consistently demonstrated that success isn't determined solely by appearance or charisma, but by sheer dedication and an ability to connect deeply with a character. He has broken down barriers for actors who didn't fit the traditional Hollywood mold, challenging the stereotype of what a leading man should look like or act like. Hoffman's success has reshaped the industry's perceptions, proving that emotional depth, authenticity, and a commitment to one's craft can outshine conventional ideas of star quality. Hoffman's rise to fame was far from instantaneous. Born into a modest working-class family and growing up with insecurities about his appearance and abilities, he had a rocky path to success. His early years were marked by rejection and doubt, both from others and from within. Unlike many of his contemporaries, who may have relied on their physical attributes or social connections to climb the Hollywood ladder, Hoffman had to fight for every role he landed. But it was precisely this struggle that gave him the resilience and determination to push forward. From his breakthrough role in The Graduate in 1967 to his deeply moving portrayal of Raymond Babbitt in Rain Man, 1988, Hoffman has built a career on performances that feel remarkably human. He gravitates toward characters who are complex, flawed, and multidimensional, people who reflect the messy realities of life rather than the idealized versions often seen in film. This ability to fully inhabit his characters, to make them feel real and relatable, is one of Hoffman's greatest gifts. Whether he's playing a disillusioned college graduate, a struggling single father, or an autistic savant, Hoffman's performances consistently resonate with audiences because of their honesty and vulnerability. Hoffman's journey from insecure misfit to Hollywood legend is a story of resilience, humility, and passion. He has never been one to rest on his laurels, even after achieving enormous success. Instead, he has continually pushed the boundaries of what it means to be a star, taking on roles that challenge both himself and his audience. While some actors may choose roles that maintain a consistent image, Hoffman has never been afraid to take risks, whether that means playing a woman in Tootsie or stepping into darker, more troubled characters. His fearlessness in selecting roles has not only earned him critical acclaim, but has also helped to broaden the scope of roles available to actors who may not fit the typical Hollywood mold. What sets Hoffman apart from many of his peers is his humility and introspection. Despite his fame, he has always remained grounded, often downplaying his own abilities and attributing his success to luck or timing rather than his undeniable talent. He has spoken openly about his insecurities and how they have shaped his approach to acting. This humility, combined with his relentless pursuit of excellence, has made him one of the most respected figures in the industry. Dustin Hoffman may have never seen himself as a conventional star, but that is precisely what has made him so extraordinary. He has always focused on the craft of acting, rather than the trappings of fame, and in doing so, he has left an indelible mark on the world of cinema. His body of work continues to inspire generations of actors, showing them that true talent lies in the ability to convey humanity in all its complexity. Hoffman's legacy will endure not just because of the characters he has portrayed, but because of the way he has redefined what it means to be a star. He has shown that success in Hollywood isn't just about how you look or the size of your personality. It's about how deeply you can connect with an audience and how willing you are to embrace vulnerability and truth in your work.